Hello, Education 1030 students. I hope everyone had a great week last week. So, we're going to move on to Module 5, which is called Reading and Note Taking. I'm also going to, in this video, talk to you about your Exploring the Field presentation and what that consists of, and completing an outline, and also sending me your topic, as well as getting started logging in to focus to career that has to do with our career readiness module. So there's a lot we're going to cover in this video. We're going to go ahead and start with module 5 first and move on into exploring the field as well as our career readiness module. So module 5 is going to be talking about how you can get the most out of your class. And what I mean by that is sometimes you'll be instructed to read certain textbooks. Sometimes you might be looking at um, scholarly resources and articles, and you're going to be asked to read a lot of things. The main focus is now that you've gained a better understanding of what kind of learner you are from last week's module, is to really start applying the strategies so you can learn how to understand or comprehend what you're reading, specifically college material, and also what it means to be an effective note taker and how do you do that. So that's really going to be our focus in module 5. So with your outcomes, this module, we're going to be discussing the ways that reading differs in college and how to successfully adapt to that change. So it's going to be a little bit different than the reading that you did in high school. Also, you're going to be able to demonstrate the usefulness of strong note taking for college students and what that looks like. So that is really going to help you accomplish our course outcomes, which is, of course, navigating the course management system eLearn and other college success technologies, and also acquire strategies for effective listening to take lecture notes, read textbooks for understanding, and prepare for tests and other evaluations. Now, how are you going to be assessed this week? Well, you will have your Module 5 quiz, and again, you will have multiple attempts. When the window closes, I will take the highest quiz attempt and record that for your final score. You will be completing um, two things that will go into the Dropbox. So the first one's going to be your Module 5 homework, where you're going to complete a formal outline, which I will walk you through. You will use a template that I provide for you, but we will be working on Module 5 or Chapter 5 in our textbook. The next thing has to do with your exploring the field presentation. So you will be completing what we call an exploring the field presentation outline. Now, I went back and forth of whether I wanted you to submit this next week, but I thought since we're working in Unit 2 and we're working on outlines and we just started uh, working in the Exploring the Field module, it would make more sense to go ahead and just do your outline. So those will be for 2 assessment points, 10 points apiece, and in addition, you will have your 10 points for your Module 5 quiz. So this week is pretty heavy on the points. It's a possible of 30 points. You do have your optional study tool that will help you study for not only the Module 5 quiz, but also when it's time to take your unit exam. Um, and remember, you can earn bonus points toward the exam for completing the reading organizer, so take advantage of that as well. Now, I did include the key terms and concepts here for you, what I really want you to focus on, the key terms that you're going to see or the concepts you will see in Module 5, specifically in your textbook chapter. So it's important for you to know what these terms or concepts are and what they're meaning in relation to the content. So some of this, of course, is going to help you learn how to be a better reader, but also how do you not only understand college material, but then how do you become successful note taker and what would that look like? So make sure that you're looking at the key terms and concepts and understand those definitions. I also included the reading organizer there for you. Again, it's optional, but it is a great resource for you as far as a study tool. In the textbook, I have embedded the chapter that we're going to be focusing on, but again, if you prefer to use the PDF that you downloaded, you can use that. You will see here that we are working in chapter 5. Now, chapter 5 only focuses on 3 main ideas. So you have the different types of reading, and then you have effective reading strategies, and then taking notes. So these are going to be the main 3 main focus areas in our textbook chapter. Now you will look here, I went ahead and embedded the different textbook chapters for you. Now I did provide you with a couple of additional resources that I feel like would help you um, and extend the content a little bit better. So we have the first one is a video about the writing process. That how do you write better in writing composition classes, specifically if you're preparing, say, an essay, or you're trying to complete outline, which is what you're going to be doing for the homework assignment, is how do you outline specifically a paragraph? Now, remember, this is academics. So this first video will be quite helpful. The second video link that I have available for you is how do you outline a basic essay. So if you are already enrolled this semester in English composition or English literature course, then this may be something you're familiar with. If you are maybe saying taking this kind of course, say in the fall, then this might be especially helpful for you. Underneath the 2 videos, which I said are optional for your viewing, but they are going to help you gain a better understanding of outlining if you're unfamiliar with that, and make connection to your homework assignment. You have the Module 5 quiz. Um, it will close on March the 5th at 11:30 p.m. Again, you have multiple attempts. Then you see here you have something called a Module 5 formal outline. This is going to be your homework assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. So here is what it looks like. I have given you an example of an outline. Now, this is going to be from our last Module 4 that we did. So this, remember, Module 4 was a little confusing because you read Chapter 2. But this was an outline over Chapter 2 material for Module 4. This is the kind of format or outline, if you will, that I want you to use. So this is called a formal outline. And what you're going to do is you're going to see here that each chapter is always going to use the same kind of layout, right? So the chapter is always going to have your objectives, then it's always going to have your main ideas, and those are normally known as sections. So in chapter 2, we had some main ideas here. So anytime we're doing a formal outline, you use what we call Roman numerals, okay? And Roman numerals is specifically just stating that's the main idea, right? One of the main ideas of the chapter. So, chapter 2, what is the nature of learning? That is the main idea in textbook chapter 2. Then you have Roman numeral 2. This is going to be your second main idea. Then, if you scroll down, you'll see here that underneath each main idea, you're going to have some numbers. And you're like, and letters. You're just like, what is that? The easiest way for me to explain to you, and as you read the textbook chapter, you're going to see that it uses what we call a formula, right? So anytime you're doing a formal outline, there's a formula you use. Roman numerals, capital letters, and numbers. The Roman numerals, as I mentioned, is going to always be your main idea. Then the capital letters are going to be your ideas or subheadings, right? So that is what is related to your main idea. So for instance, on the first main idea, what is the nature of learning? We know that all learning is not the same. So this is going to be your subheading for the main idea. And then you're like, okay, I get that, right? This is the main idea. This is a supporting detail, but what is this number? So the number underneath the supporting detail is just going to be an example, right? Well, we say all learning is not the same. Well, this is an example. Bloom's taxonomy classifies the different types of learning. So that's an example of how learning is not the same, right? And that is giving you an idea of the formula. The formula is going to be the same for each main idea. Roman numeral, main idea. Capital letter, subheading or supporting detail. And then the number underneath that is just going to be an example for that supporting detail, right? So that is going to be how you are going to follow to write your outline. So let's go back up here to the directions. People use outlines when they want to use it as an effective note strategy. Okay, normally we see outlines, we think, oh, this is going to be how I am going to use it to outline my ideas for my paper. Yes, that's an effective way to use an outline, but you can use outlines for several reasons, not just a way to organize your ideas or thoughts. Another way is using it as a note taking strategy. An example of this would be our reading organizers. Reading organizers help you put the most important details down that you need to study. Okay, this is why I provide you with reading organizers every module. So it helps you take notes, pulling out the most important concepts or main ideas. So you may be used to what we call a informal, right? Where you just do bullets, right? You just little bullet points. These are some main ideas I need to focus on. But you can take it a step further with this formal outline, like you're going to be completing. Okay, so a formal outline is going to obviously use indenting. You'll see here, there's indentions. The indentions, I will warn you, can be tricky sometimes. That's why I kind of wanted to give you an example of last week's module for chapter 2 so you can see kind of how it's indented. I'm not going to get hung up too much on indentions, right? What I am looking for is that you are using the formula where Roman numerals is going to be your main idea, your capital letters is going to be your supporting detail, and then your numbers, which are going to show connections or examples of the main idea. Okay, and that's going to really help you see how chapter 5 is organized. Okay, so this example again is going to be for chapter 2 last week when we were doing module 4. It's going to show you the pattern and the formula I want you to use, but I do not want you to copy and paste this and try to turn it in. What I'm looking for is for you to read chapter 5 and you're going to do a formal outline. Now, I do want to go back to where we just were when I was in the textbook for chapter 5. And what I want you to focus on is the introduction section, the very first page. You're going to see underneath the chapter outline, and this is similar for many textbook companies, that they will lay them out in the very beginning of the chapter. These are considered your main ideas. These are the 3 main sections in the book. So you know that you're going to have 3 Roman numerals for your formal outline for chapter 5. Okay. So just keep that in mind when you are working on your formal outline. Yes, I do want supporting details. You will get that from chapter 5. And I'd like you to give me some examples, at least one, because that's going to show that connection. Yes, it's fine to add a supporting detail, which is necessary, but it also helps to have an example. That just gives you a better understanding of the main idea. So you will complete it. Okay, and if you'll look here too, you're like, wow, that's missing because I remember chapter 2 being quite long. Yes, I did that on purpose because I want you to see that this is just a partial outline, just to kind of give you an idea. You will have to make sure that when you are doing this formal outline that you are including all 3 Roman numerals or those 3 main ideas of chapter 5. You also including the supporting detail, which is your capital letter, and then obviously an example, a connecting idea or example, which is going to be your numbers. Okay, so you will submit that to the Dropbox. So there is a link to the Dropbox to submit your outline underneath the assignment. So if you'll scroll down in chapter 5, you'll see formal outline Dropbox, or like I always mention, you can go to assessments and click on Dropbox. That's another way to get to it. So the second thing I said that you were going to be submitting was your exploring the field presentation outline. Now, how we're going to get into this is I really want us to go over and look at the module that says exploring the field. This is going to be a better idea and understanding of what I'm expecting and what the presentation's about before you can start working on your outline. So what you're going to do is underneath the table of contents, I want you to click on Exploring the Field. Okay, hopefully by now, because I've mentioned this in a couple of videos, that you've had a chance to read through the Exploring the Field module. You had to have done this if you were doing the Exploring the Field video reflection. That's just one part of the whole project. The second part, aside from your reflection videos, is for you to be able to present on a career field that you are interested in. So, the easiest way to always navigate any module is to use the left side tabs underneath the table of content. So when I click on Exploring the Field module, you'll see that there are two sections underneath that module. You need to go to the section that says Exploring the Field Presentation. Now, as I mentioned, you obviously are doing and going to complete 3 video reflections. But I also want you to present on a job, right? So what you're going to do is not think of this presentation as a speech. Think about as leading a discussion that includes a presentation. Now you're wondering, how are we going to do this when this is an online class? Well, you are going to record yourself, right? And use a visual aid to help you. So one of the visual aid types you can use that everyone is familiar with is Microsoft PowerPoint. But you also have things like Prezi, Book Creator, Canva. There's lots of them that you can use. So this assignment is worth 100 total points. Now, the first thing that I want you to do, and it is worth 10 points, is I want you to put what you want to present on. So that means you need to tell me what career field will you be presenting to us and telling us all about that career field. The second thing you're going to see is your outline. This is just going to outline the things that you're going to talk about. Okay, and I'm going to get to both of these. These will both be submitted to the Dropbox. Okay, now you'll see here that these two things are worth 20 points. The other bulk of the points is worth 80, and that comes from the presentation itself. Now, the presentation will not be long. It's only going to be 3 to 5 minutes in length. Okay, so some of the things that you're going to talk about in your career video is things like, what type of career are you interested? What's the average salary? Do you have to pursue education? What kind of education do you need? What does a typical work week look like? What are the hours? What are some strategies or skill set needed for this type of job? Is it hard? What would you like us to know? Right? And again, education needed is very important. That's why I put that there twice. Would you have to pursue education beyond Walter State, such as ETSU, UT, some kind of tech school, cosmetology school, whatever it is you're interested in? And then basically, number one reason too is, why are you interested in this career? Why does this career speak to you so much that you would find it important for us to be able to listen to you about this career? Okay, now obviously you will not be standing in front of the class, but you will be recording yourself and submitting it to the discussion board. Now, in this project, I do allow students to earn bonus points, up to 10 bonus points. So how would you do that? Well, if you interview someone that does this career interested in, you would answer these types of questions here to, answer them in a kind of transcript, if you will. You would type it up on a Word document and you would submit it along with your presentation, and this will allow you to earn up to 10 bonus points. Obviously, you would list the person's name, their contact information, along with the questions you asked and their answers. And it would be important too to mention something you learned from the interview inside your presentation. Okay, now the good thing is the presentation is not very long. But before we can get to putting your presentation together, we really need to tell me, what first are you presenting on? Okay, again, the presentation topic form. So this is something that you will be submitting this week. This is easy peasy and lemon squeezy is what I like to call. It's only worth 10 points. It's an easy 10 points. What you'll see here, this explains to you about the presentation, which is just what I went over, how many points each section of the assignment is worth. The only thing that you're going to do down here as you are going to tell me the career that interests you the most. You're like, yeah, but there's 3 things here. Let me explain this and break it down for you. The reason I put 3 things on here is because some people are maybe unsure. So if you're unsure of what career and you need help, you need to write that here. The other 2 here are really going to be if you say that you are interested in healthcare field, right? You could put healthcare field interests me. But if you specifically know what your career topic is, like say it's going to be on nursing or business owner or occupational therapy or history teacher, whatever it is that you want to do, that would be your topic presentation. But if you're interested in a certain career field, you can put that. You're just going to fill out one of these lines, not all 3. And then you just submit that to um, to the Dropbox. That's all you do there. Now, the next thing you're going to submit is going to be your outline. Okay, and if you'll see here underneath that, I gave you the link. Also in Module 5, you have a link. So there's multiple ways for you to get to it. The next thing you're going to do is complete the outline. Now, let's go over the outline a little bit. Keeping with our theme of your Module 5 outline assignment, I want you to complete it thinking about the same kind of way. And what I mean by that is the first thing is just going to be talking about the presentation outline, right? So this outline is going to help you get your thoughts together, your idea for your presentation. So you're going to put the date, the course is Education 1030, and your presentation topic is going to be the career field you're presenting on. And then down here, you are going to complete a outline. So you can use Roman numeral 1. You will tell me what career you chose. In this section, your supporting ideas or your capital letters could be, why did you choose this career? What do you like about it? Why do you think you'd be good at it? Then section 2, underneath that same main idea, again, I want to just reiterate, you're only going to have one Roman numeral here because you're doing the same topic. It's the same main idea for your entire speech. You're just going to be having different capital letters. So A, B, C, D, E, so on. But underneath each supporting detail, think about putting these types of things in. Now remember, these are just going to be ideas. You do not have to lay it out and use all of these in here, but I do want you to use, obviously you really need to talk about the education. You need to talk about what a typical maybe day is, things you feel is important for us to know. Keeping in mind, you only have 3 to 5 minutes, okay? Now, earlier, I talked to you about a chance for bonus points with the interview. Section 5, or somewhere in your outline, the very last section, would be good for you to put in what you maybe learned from that person that you interviewed. Okay. Now, this will obviously be submitted to the Dropbox. And again, there is a direct link underneath Exploring the Field, but there's also a link for it in the Module 5 content. Now, I will do a separate video about your visual aid section, so and how where you would put it. So please do not go any further than that. What you're responsible for right now is obviously your Module 5 assignments, which will be your quiz, your formal outline. The other thing is going to be your outline for your presentation and then your topic Dropbox. So those are the things that you should be completing and turning in. And again, I know it's confusing, but if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, I told you this was a heavy video, is the job readiness module. And this kind of goes along with exploring the field. So to get to the job readiness module, it's going to be underneath Unit 3. So you will click on it. Okay, so this is going to explain to you why the job readiness module is going to help you prepare for a career. Now, sometimes we already know what we want to do, right? And we do it for a lot of years. But sometimes, maybe when we're in the midst of our career, we want to apply for a promotion in our current job, or we may even decide to make a career change, right? Or apply for a specific program of study where further education is needed. So, a job readiness module is really going to help you focus on your interests, but also focus on putting together a really good portfolio, right? A job readiness portfolio. And here's the things that's going to be included. So, this is going to be a project of yours. And again, I'm going to do a separate video next week. I don't want to overwhelm you. Maybe the next couple weeks we'll do videos on it, but I just wanted to get you started in looking at it and then signing up for your Focus to Career account. So, you will be completing what we call a job readiness portfolio. These are the things that will be included in the portfolio. You will have personal mission statement, a resume, a cover letter, and then we will actually have what we call a mock interview, and you will submit your feedback for that. So, if you'll look here, I kind of walk you down what you need to do first. The first thing is that I want you to focus on is I want you to read and click on the link that says, "What is Focus to Career?" There is a video here that talks about what it is, how it will be beneficial for you, and what it has to do with the job readiness module. So, you need to click on that, okay, and watch that video. The second thing that you will click on is going to take you, it's called Focus to Career, and it's going to take you to this. Okay, so Water State has a career center, and they offer students a free Focus to Career account. So what this is Focus to Career is an assessment that will ask you different questions and relate to different criteria such as interest, and it kind of matches you up with occupations suited for you, your likes, your interests, those sorts of things, your skill set. So what you're going to do is you have to first, before you can take the Focus to Career assessment, which is part of this class in this project, is you will have to create an account. So you will click on the Insights page, and it's going to take you to a separate page here. You will need to scroll down. What you're going to do is I want you to click on, Access Focus 2. And then you're going to sign in with your Water State account. Now, you will scroll down a little bit more. It's going to tell you that it's an interactive career exploration assessment. Okay, so in this assessment, it's going to use lots of different exploration tools, that's very beneficial when trying to make a career decision. So even though you may be set on your major path, like your career path, it never hurts to explore. Okay, so everyone has to do this. So what you're going to do is, in order to register for an account, you're going to walk through these 4 steps. The first thing is you have to click on the registration page. Okay, when you click on there, it's going to ask you to register using a code. Here's the code, Senators. Then you're going to complete your registration by creating an account. Now, after you create the account, the system will prompt you to begin the assessment. Okay. Now, if for some reason you already have a Focus to Career account, then you can log in and enter your username and password. Okay. And then you'll be led to the dashboard. That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to talk to you. There is a career video tour here that I suggest you watch. It's going to be very helpful. And get you started with Focus to Career. But remember, the main focus right now is just to create your account. We will dive deeper into what it's going to look like and the areas that you will be assessed on and what you're going to do with them moving forward. So that's going to be coming in the next 2 videos. So for now, just create your account and watch the video about Focus to Career. Okay. All right. This video is quite long, so I'm going to stop. But please reach out if you have questions about the formal outline for Chapter 5, or if you have questions about the job readiness module, specifically how you get logged into Focus to Career and register for account, or if you have questions about exploring the field, like maybe you need help deciding on a topic to present, or if you do not know how to do your outlining and you need assistance. So please feel free to reach out. I hope everyone has a great week. And until next time, take care.